प्रियतम कान्हा 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 तुम मम प्रियतम कान्हा 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 ओ कान्हा अब लो नहीं जाना 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 रहे विमुख तव कान्हा 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 रहे विमुख तव कान्हा 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 श्री गुरवे नमः. In the last few classes on Rasopasana, we understood some basics of the Upasana. And Rasopasana basically is cultivating love by doing the Artha Bhavana, which is extracting the meanings of love from the Nam, Roop, Gun, Leela, Dham, Parikar, which are in the Kirtan, described in the Kirtan. So we also understood that we have to practice 4 limbs of Rasopasana, which is karma, jnana, sannyasa and dhyana. Jnana is basically to understand that I am the Atma and I am the Amsha of Sri Krishna, and Sri Krishna being my Amshi is naturally my object of love, and I should love him. Loving him is my basic karma. And love, I told you that tat sukhe sukhitvam, to take pleasure in the pleasure of the beloved. So we have to make Sri Krishna's ruchi as my ruchi, Sri Krishna's taste as my taste. How do we give pleasure to our beloved? What is pleasure? Ananda is the relish of love. So when Sri Krishna is relishing love, he is getting Ananda. So we have to give Ananda to Sri Krishna. In order to do that, we have to provide conditions for him to relish his love. For whom? For me. And I become his object of love. Vibhava, it is called as Vibhava. I become his Vibhava. And because Sri Krishna as a lover also takes pleasure in the pleasure of his devotee, which is me in this case. If I am happy, then Sri Krishna is happy. So how do I become happy? By relishing my love for him. So in order to please Sri Krishna, I should relish my love for him, and because I don't have love for him, I should cultivate love for him, and that becomes my karma in Rasopasana. Then when I am trying to meditate on Sri Krishna, on his Nam, Roop, Gun, Leela, Dham, Parikar, and extract the meanings of love, do Artha Bhavana in order to cultivate love, my mind keeps getting deviated from my sadhana, my object of love, because of my eternal identification with the body. What I am doing in sadhana is an unnatural thing for me. Because of my avidya, identification with the body, thinking about the material objects or production of the desire and considering the material nature as my object of love is natural to me. This is unnatural to me. So I am trying to do something unnatural. So my mind gets deviated. So what do I have to do? I told you that whenever the thought comes, whenever the desire comes, I should reject them in my mind. Say that this is not mine. This belongs to the body and I am not the body. So these thoughts and desires do not belong to me. So I reject them. in my mind. This is sannyasa. And then after rejecting, I bring the mind back onto my object of worship. So this is dhyana. These 4 things we have to do. And we did this upasana through a song which is written by Jagadguru Kripalu, and we will try to continue that song and learn more elements of Rasopasana, especially what is the temperament or what is the understanding with which we will be able to do this upasana, because we have the experience of material world as relishable. We have been relishing the material sense objects and we have been getting happiness from it. So now why would we give up that and try to seek something else? Theoretically we understood that Sri Krishna is my object of love because he is my amshi, I am his part. But practical experience is something else. So what is the understanding or realization that we should have in order to get seriously into this upasana? That we will discuss further. So we'll continue the song first. Tum mama priyatam kanha 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 tum mama priyatam kanha 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 kanha. I did the Artha Bhavana of this portion in the last class. Those who haven't heard this, please go to that and they will get the understanding of certain basics. This line is saying, O Lord Krishna. Kanha means, O Lord Krishna, you are my dearest. And then we go to the next line. Ha Kanha ab lo nahi jana, ha Kanha ab lo nahi jana, rahe vimukh tava Kanha, Kanha Kanha Kanha, rahe vimukh tava Kanha, Kanha Kanha Kanha, Kanha Kanha Kanha, tum mama priyatam Kanha, Kanha Kanha Kanha. So how Kanha? How means I. Kanha means O Krishna. How Kanha? Ab lav nahi jana. Till now I did not know this. What I did not know, that you are my dearest. And because of not knowing this, I have been rahevu vimukh. Vimukh means I was looking in the opposite direction. I was not looking at you. I was not loving you. I was looking at something else, which is Prakriti. I was not identifying myself with the Atma and as your devotee. I was identifying with myself as the body and the relisher of the sense objects. Right? So I was vimukh, not unmukh, not looking at you, favorable to you. I was away from you. So now why does this happen? We should understand certain basics of this. The jiva, as I told you, is nitya baddha, means eternally we are bound to this body. Those who are the parikaras of Sri Krishna in the spiritual realm, right? They are all nitya siddhas. Eternally they are with Sri Krishna and eternally they consider themselves as devotees or mother or friend or lover of Sri Krishna. They have an eternal relationship with Sri Krishna. We are eternally bound. Now, being eternally bound, we always consider the material world as our object of relish. So when we have this gap between our thoughts about Sri Krishna, immediately Maya comes in between. And this Maya has two Shaktis. One is Avaranatmika Shakti and one is Vikshepatmika Shakti. Maya can function, act on us only if we leave a gap between ourselves and Sri Krishna. So the moment we are considering, we are directing our attention on the sense objects, automatically there is a gap between us and Sri Krishna, and then Maya enters and it does two functions. With Avaranatmika Shakti, it covers my identity as Atma, which means that I will not think myself as a conscious entity, I will not think myself as a Atma, I will not think myself as a devotee of Sri Krishna. And then with its Vikshepatmika Shakti, it gives me a different identity and it makes me attached to that identity, which means that I identify myself with the body, and then when the desires I produced, I consider material world as my object of relish. So because of Maya, the agency of Maya, I have been thinking that I am the body, and I was not thinking that I am the Atma. And then I was, instead of being unmukh to you, favorable to you, I was unfavorable to you, which means that I was not looking at you and I was looking at the Prakriti and then considering that as my object of relish. And then what was happening because of that? I mean, this is the understanding that which we should have in order to get into Upasana. So we are moving towards that. The kind of understanding that we should have, which will motivate us to do the Upasana. So once I become Vimukh, then what is happening? We'll understand this with the next lines. Tapya tritapana papan kanha, tapya tritapana papan kanha, payo jag dukh nana, kanha kanha kanha, kanha kanha kanha. Now, because of my identification, as I told you, with the body, my body produces material desires and it wants to relish 5 sense objects through my 5 senses. Then when I relish the sense objects, I am getting some relish and it is giving me happiness. So that should be okay. But the problem is that this material world has laws of nature. And because of these laws of nature, whenever, as I told you before, that whenever I get engaged with the matter in order to fulfill my desires, I am disturbing the laws of nature. And since I am related to myself, others and nature, this disturbance is becoming threefold. Right? I'll give you an example. For example, I am smoking a cigarette. Right? When I am smoking cigarette, it's giving me pleasure, sense pleasure. But it is also disturbing the laws of nature of this body and it's spoiling my lungs. So I am going against the nature. And if somebody is sitting next to me, I am also spoiling his body, his lungs, by disturbing the laws of nature of his body. And then I am polluting the nature also, because the smoke travels in the air. So I am causing threefold disturbance with this simple act of smoking. And even if we take, I have given this example earlier also, even when we take a normal activity like speaking over the phone, mobile phone, this mobile phone, it appears that I am not doing any harm to anybody. I am just having a simple conversation with my friend. But when I'm using the mobile phone and speaking to somebody, it is producing radiation and it is causing damage to my brain. And it is causing damage to the brain of somebody to whom I am speaking. And this radiation is traveling in the atmosphere, so it is creating disturbance in the atmosphere also. So this shows that with every activity, because I am connected with myself, others and nature, I am creating a threefold disturbance, and as a result of it, when my lungs are spoiled, right, it is giving me lot of misery, right? And from others also I get misery, and from nature also I get misery. This is according to the law of karma. And so that is why this song is saying, O Sri Krishna, after becoming Vimukh, you are Mimukh, and identifying myself with the body, and when the desires are produced, when I am relishing the sense pleasure, I am experiencing threefold miseries. Tapyo tritapan papan kanha. Because of the pap that I am doing, I am experiencing threefold miseries. I explained to you what is these threefold miseries are. They are Adhyatmika Klesha, Adibhautika Klesha and Adidaivika Klesha, which means that the miseries which are caused by myself, my body and mind, and miseries caused by the others, and miseries caused by the natural forces. And then tapyo tritapan. Tapya means miseries. Tritap means three kinds of miseries I am suffering. Tapya means suffering, sorry. And three miseries. And papan means because of the papa. Papa means sin. So generally people understand sin as meaning doing some bad activities like harming someone, stealing somebody's money, or abusing somebody, right? It's not just that. Papa basically means disturbing the laws of nature. Adharma, doing adharma. Dharma means acting according to the laws of nature. Adharma means not acting according to the laws of nature or disturbing the laws of nature. Doing activities which does not sustain this world or sustain our body, sustain our mind. Papa also means patayati iti papa, which means that which makes you fall down. When we consider ourselves as the body, we are falling from the identification with the Atma. From Atma we are falling down to body. And then this is the first sin. Second sin is that as Atma we should be loving Sri Krishna. But when we identify ourselves with the body, material desires are produced, and instead of pleasing our beloved, we are trying to please our own selves, our body. So we are falling from prema to kama. And then we are, by trying to fulfill the sense pleasure, we are disturbing the nature. And that is one more papa. So this papa is happening. Because of this papa and creating threefold disturbance, we are experiencing threefold miseries. And then we are experiencing so many kinds of miseries that we experience. We have diseases, we have complexes, we have tensions, we have depression, and then lack of self-esteem, and then we have conflicts with other people, and there is violence everywhere in the society. There are natural calamities, there are disasters, pandemics, right? Tsunamis, earthquakes, all of them give misery to us. All these different kinds of miseries we are experiencing because of the papa, right? So this is what is the understanding that we should have when we get into upasana. Because unless we understand that there is something bad about this world, why would we reject that? Right? The only result of all our actions in this material world, at the beginning when we are relishing, they may give me pleasure, give us pleasure, right? But then the ultimate result of all these things is misery. And unless we realize this, we will not be motivated to give up this. And unless we understand that happiness, freedom, absolute freedom from misery, and then unlimited happiness or bliss comes only when we cultivate love for Sri Krishna and when we get connected to Sri Krishna, we will not be motivated to do this upasana. And we will continue this song in the next session, and we will know what more do we need to understand which will motivate us to do this upasana, get into this upasana. Albeli Sarkar ki jai. Papan kanha tapyotritapan papan kanha tapyotritapan papan